What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am the Crypto Crow, and I'm hoping I'm live, and I'm hoping everything works well. I've been super busy, and I've been paying attention to what's going on, but I have been busy. And I thought today was probably a pretty good day to go live and talk about sentiment and what all was happening. I've got some big Cardano news. We're going to look at the charts a little bit and kind of get a gauge as to what may be playing out. And I also have a big thing that I saw this and I thought this makes a lot of sense. And so I thought I might share this. And it's basically about where we're at in the market and what's likely going to play out over the next 3 months and how that may look. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to see everything is updating very slowly for me. I'm starting to see a couple people in chat. What's going on? JW Eggers, greetings. Austin, you're not first, but that's okay. You're second, close enough. Second is only the first. What is it? First loser? What is that? I can't remember. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? I'm actually going to be heading to Orlando very shortly for a business meeting. As a matter of fact, I might pull that up and share some of that as well, because that's what this meeting is going to be about. So I figure I may as well share some of that. Where's this? Yeah, we'll throw that in there for now. And yeah, so we're going to cover some different things. First, I want to point out I've been trading with BidFi, and just little bits. I just exited a trade actually. You can see I just sold, and I made about $227 on that trade. And so, you know, nothing major. I should have sold it all the way up here, but I didn't. And I almost didn't even want to exit the trade. I thought there's really no reason to, because I got in at like 65. I got in down here. Where did I get in? Yeah, it was around 65, 6.5 cents. And, you know, it wasn't anything crazy, just a 5x trade. But I am trading on BidFi, and I'm trading on BidFi because my contact there, who I was working with back when I was trading on Fairdesk like a madman. And he was just so cool, man. And he actually, I met him in person, flew in from China, and not just to meet me, just to meet other people. And we just had a really cool talk, and he was just very honest with me, and he was just very, very cool. And anytime he goes into any exchange, I'm like one of the first people he reaches out to for partnership. And so I just thought that was really cool of him. And so, yeah, I've been trading back on BidFi, and I'm doing a lot of other things too. I'm working on, and this is going to be kind of a hangout video, just so you know. This is going to be super quick. It's been a while, so I thought I'm going to answer questions. I really would love to get into some discussion today with everyone. So, like, if you have questions or you want my thoughts on this or that or another thing, as long as I know about it and I've been paying attention to it, I'm more than happy to share my thoughts on anything today. Kind of an Ask Me Anything video, but we are going to cover some good stuff. I'm trying to find my chat window. There it is. I want to bring my chat window out here and make this a little bigger so everyone can see you guys in my chat. And I made myself a little smaller. My resolution should be higher. I am working on so many things at the same time right now. Also, I want to let everybody know before I jump into it, I am building websites again because I just have to. Okay. This is my web design business. I've been building websites on and off since I was literally 17 years old, and doing SEO and all of that. If you are currently running, if you have a business and you're running a WordPress website, which I've been building WordPress sites for years and years, those are out. And I'll tell you, because I can build a full stack web platform now, a SaaS, you name it, for basically the cost of what I used to do WordPress sites for. And I've also got an affiliate program on here. So if you go to dirtyleopard.com and you come all the way down to the bottom, there's a link. Well, you can't see it, but you see where my mouse is. You click this affiliate dashboard, you can sign up. And then when you share articles from my blog, you'll have an affiliate dash. When you share articles, all these articles are very helpful to people. My approach is to teach people how to do things. And then when they realize they just don't want to do it themselves, they can call me and they can hire me to do it for them. But I can build really badass business websites. I can build just about anything. But if you share my blog articles, it'll attach your affiliate ID link. And then if somebody clicks that and they either come into like an SEO audit, they fill out they put in their website, run an audit. It tells them everything wrong with their SEO, their page load speeds, you name it. And that's free. Or they can come to build, and they can basically build what kind of website they want with what kind of features, pages, and everything, and get a basic idea. Over here, it kind of runs a tally of like approximately what the site will cost to build it out. And when they do that, I get their contact information and things. It shows up on your dashboard as a lead. And then I go through, and if I turn that lead into a deal where I build a website for them, I cut you in on 20%. I pay you through PayPal, maybe crypto if you want. But so it's like, this is my web company. It's Dirty Leopard. And I don't know why I have to price or name everything off of animals, but I've had Dirty Leopard for years, and I used to do SEO from Dirty Leopard. And then like, these are the websites I've built so far. Obviously CryptoCrow.io, which you guys have seen. I just built this for my wife and her total transformation. Just a lot of stuff. My Zempify, my mortgage loan officer CRM, and Prompt Junkie. I mean, I built all of these, and I'm going to be adding more. I'm working on a couple more. So yeah, I basically, I'm back to building websites. So if you're out there, you need a website for your business, you know somebody that needs a website, hit me up. I need the work. I really do. I'm not like dying or anything, but I definitely like, and the market is turning around a bit. But I don't know how long this is going to last. We may be seeing a reversal here soon, and I want to be ahead of it. And I just don't know how long things are going to take. But anyway, yeah. And then of course you can always join CryptoCrow.io if you want to offer any support. I publish a lot of content. I published two videos. So basically the way I'm doing this is if people want to support me just to be supportive, you can join the sites like $15 a month, right? Or you could join for free. When you join for free, you'll get a weekly digest of everything that all the articles I posted that week. And you can read everything that doesn't have a video. So basically that's the way I'm doing my content moving forward. If you just like me and you're like, I'll throw Crow $15 a month because he's a broke bitch and I've got it like that, then you can do that. And it does help a lot. It really does. It adds up. But I'm basically making all of my content free moving forward, unless it's something I've spent hours and hours on. And like one of the things I've been doing is I've done 2-part video to vibe code your own affiliate marketing site, and it's detailed, man. I walk everybody through step by step, and they're just not getting that many views because I don't have that many members on the site. So but like I've been building a pretty badass affiliate marketing platform, and you know, it's pretty easy, and I'm showing you guys how to do what I do, you know. So but that's behind the paywall because it's literally taking me hours and hours, and then I'm going through editing these hour-long videos in great detail. And so anyway, but that's that. Let's get on with what you guys are really here for, because I'm sure most of you don't give two shits. At least you newcomers. I know all my old school fans, you guys care about that kind of stuff, and I appreciate it. I really do. So anyway, my trade, I've been trading Night token because it's been fairly predictable so far in its price action. Okay, I mean, you can see the ebbs and flows. The peaks here are around 7.5 cents, and the lows are around 6.5 cents. So when you get into a trade, you can see my buys and sells. So I bought up here, I sold down here. I don't know why I did that. Then I bought back in lower. That's probably why. I thought it was going to go lower, so I'd pick up a new trade, and I did. I could have sold up here. I should have, because I haven't been actively marking this stuff, but if you look at this line here, you can see there's a lot of resistance here at this line, and we went through it once, kind of a fake out, but we hit that 3 times. Now this one could potentially move up again higher, but we made a lower low, and I'm like, let's go ahead and get out of this, and maybe I'll pick it back up again if it happens to drop down below these moving averages. So that's what I'm doing right now on BidFi, and I'm just kind of playing with it, right? And that's that. There's a link down below. There are some huge bonuses associated with this. If you join under my link, they're doing a lot of like Cardano and Night token giveaways for new accounts. So you might want to take advantage of that. At the very least, take a look at it. I'm going to be posting some stuff here soon about it on my Twitter and of course in my Telegram group. But yeah, take a look at that. Now, Cardano whales buy 100 million ADA. But price is still struggling below 40 cents. Well, not anymore. We've obviously come up. We're currently trading at about 42 cents, where we found a little bit of a level. And you know, I'm hoping that this is the new range, right? That we don't go below 40 cents anymore. But I find it interesting that Bitcoin's market cap continues to pump while Bitcoin also pumps in price. I find that interesting. Night token, on the other hand, has been taking a bit of a dip as Bitcoin's dominance rises. So there's definitely a bit of a correlation between Bitcoin dominance and midnight. A smaller effect as it relates to Cardano, but then Bitcoin is also pumping. So Bitcoin's currently trading at 97,645, which is fantastic. It's great. You can see on all my major charts, I'm always using Market Cipher down below. I'm always using Market Cipher as kind of just the money flow, the RSI, these dots. And then I'm of course using the blood diamonds and the manipulation X's that kind of give me a gauge on what's likely going to happen and that what kind of strength. So because you can see here, even though we got, if I'm looking at Cardano's price, the volume candles aren't that high, which typically, if I were looking at that naked, just with volume and price action, I would think, okay, the price is coming down, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of momentum and volume. But then you can see here that this blood diamond popped up, which basically says this is going to be a big drop. And it was, for the most part, respective of the price and the range, it was a pretty significant drop, even though volume wasn't necessarily telling me that was to be expected. So I always keep my markets, I keep very specific elements of Market Cipher in action on my charts because they're very helpful. So I'm curious what this is going to say. Cardano's price holds the 20-day EMA, but weakening volume keeps breakdown risk elevated. Whales added 100 million ADA near support, helping price avoid a deeper sell-off. Here's the thing. Everybody knows, and I know that there's this big conversation right now about Cardano and its status with like the new law that, you know, they're working on, the Clarity Act, and how they're working that out back and forth. And basically all the Democrats appear to be going to bat for the big banks, trying to structure things so that people can't utilize stable tokens in a way that's going to be more fruitful to them, because that would completely just take out the banks, even though they don't really pay shit to anyone anyway. I mean, now they have, what is it? I mean, I forget, didn't Biden push the whole, like, now banks don't even have to have any reserves? It was like 0% reserves. So they're basically taking your money, loaning it out multiple times over and over and over, building this cascade of banking. They're not paying anybody shit, but then they're reusing that same money over and over and over again to generate significant returns. And the banks don't want anything to happen to that. And with the way cryptocurrencies work and stablecoin assets and things, we can very well start generating significant yield through DeFi and other means just by holding stable coins for the most part. In some cases, the banks want to get rid of that. So you've got one side of the aisle basically saying, no, protect our banks. We don't want them to go anywhere, probably because they pay a lot of money for a lot of the bills and laws and things that are basically all a part of the old school way of doing things, which has put us in the situation we're in anyway. Right. So we really want to get away from that, and we want to move into the blockchain space and utilize these tools and these new financial instruments that are actually going to benefit retail, actually going to benefit the populace, right? So you've got one side that's all about the populace, and then you've got the other side that's banking for the institutions, right? And so they're basically at war right now, going back and forth with the Clarity Act, trying to find that fine line between, you know, there's some benefit for the people, but we're still protecting our banking institutions. And, you know, to me, it's bunk. It's garbage. Like, really? I mean, it's a frustrating situation to be in, quite frankly, and I'm very curious to see how this pans out. But at the same token, on the same note, the conversation around Cardano is such that it's not a part of any major ETFs yet. I think there are like 16 or 17 ETFs that are waiting to launch, and I think these are waiting to launch as a part of the Clarity Act, or like with the Clarity Act's clarity. And then I think these ETFs are going to launch because there are altcoins, like primary altcoins in these ETFs. So we'll see. We'll see how this happens. And I guess a lot is going to happen. I think the PPI data is supposed to come out today, but I haven't checked exactly what time. I'm going to assume it's going to be within the next hour and a half to 2 hours. So we're going to see some volatility in the market, I'm sure. This may be the news that we get that starts basically pulling Bitcoin into a maybe a three-wave down reversal pattern until we start moving back up again. And then likely at that point break 100,000, but we'll see. But the one thing that I know is, while all this conversation is going back and forth, as retail continues to sell out of fear, the institutions and the whales are consistently accumulating. They're buying up everything we're selling. And I know some of you are like, well, why can't they just go buy whatever they want? The market's open. Well, because it's easier to wait on the news play that scares people out of their positions, pushes the prices down a bit. And then these institutions are that buy pressure, and that buy pressure is effectively keeping the price of what they've already accumulated to a certain degree up to a certain price point, while they're able to accumulate more around that same area before things really start to rip. And I do believe that once the Clarity Act passes, regardless of what way it goes, I think initially we're going to see some significant pumps into new all-time highs across the board. How long this all lasts, we'll see. Right. But there's a lot of noise around Cardano lately because of, like, where is it going to fall in the grand scheme of things? What I see and what we can see on chain is that those in the know are accumulating Cardano while everyone else is kind of wishy-washy, or they're scared out of their positions. That's by design. Just so you know, that's by design. I don't really think there's anything happening in the crypto space right now that isn't by design. These institutions, they all work. We all know at this point how the media is either pay for play, right? You can basically pay the media and they'll say anything anymore, because nobody gives two shits about honesty, integrity, or any of that. That is so far gone that it's all about narrative. You can buy a narrative. We've seen this over and over and over with other assets in the digital space. We've seen it in big pharma. We've seen it in politics. We see it everywhere. And generally the news media or the crypto media, they typically fall on one side or the other, right? Or they're a part of these tribal camps when it comes to digital assets. These tribal camps are typically dictated, or their involvement is typically dictated by their wallet. How much money is that media outlet receiving from that ecosystem? Whether it's coins on that ecosystem, the layer one itself, whatever. Whoever's willing to pay to play is going to get the support. Cardano is a decentralized asset without a media group that's pumping millions and millions of the house of cards is always going to push that narrative further. And we're seeing that. And so while all of this is pay to play, and Cardano struggles by being a part of that pay to play narrative all the time, it typically ends up out of the conversation. That's not to say that Cardano isn't superior in every way, because it is. Let's be real about it. I've even seen comments of major influencers and players of the most competitive ecosystems to Cardano basically say Cardano's the shit. okay, in their own way. I've seen it on X. I see it all over the place. And oftentimes we'll see these bullshit narratives about these other ecosystems come out. And then even their own people, the biggest names in these ecosystems are coming out against these people saying, really? Like, dude, you're really just making up shit at this point. Like, who's paying you? People in that ecosystem are doing this. And I really do think that it's time that we, as, you know, all of us are tribal, right? We're all tribal. We're tribal by nature as human beings, but we're especially tribal in the cryptocurrency space. And there's one thing that I have to accept. It doesn't matter what the narrative is or where it's coming from, who's paying for it or what have you. If it works, those assets are not going anywhere. So we can all either figure out a way to really work together for the betterment of each other, help prop each other up and move each other forward together, because really the enemy isn't us. The enemy of Cardano isn't a Solana holder or an AVAX holder or an Ethereum bull. The enemy is the banking institutions that are trying to suppress the potential of the blockchain space for all of us in retail. All of us who are fighting these narratives and fighting this whole constructed playbook of how to get retail to exit their positions, put these assets into our hands that we never have to let go while we start to gain control of these ecosystems, because that's what's happening. And so many people are falling into that. And I know it gets challenging. I'm challenged. I am literally doing everything in my power so that I don't have to sell my assets, because that's my future. This is my future. My Night tokens, my ADA tokens, my Bitcoin, whatever it is that I hold, I have to do everything I can to pay the bills, take care of my family at a time where there's no YouTube money to be made. There aren't any sponsorships. There's no real nothing. I have to go back to my roots and rediscover the skills and talents that I had in yesteryear. You know, loan officer, mortgage coaching. Nobody's better than me. I can do that all day. I do it. It's hard to get clients. The mortgage industry is not so great right now, right? Everything in the world has changed quite a bit since I was actively working. And so it's like, it's a struggle, but I have to maintain. And I have to be strong for myself and my family, because I do believe and I see the writing on the wall for what's coming. And it's something that I believe wholeheartedly in. And I know that I'm not on YouTube every day preaching. I know that I'm not on the internet every day reading articles and sharing my thoughts. And I probably should be, but I have to work. I'm busy doing other things. But I'm at least trying to come on here as often as I can and really share my true sentiment and my struggle, because I'm struggling with you. This isn't easy for any of us, but I also know that my belief in what is happening and what I'm watching transpire, that I've watched basically unfold since I got into crypto in 2017. I'm watching all of this stuff play out, and I know where we're going to be. I know where we're heading. I know where we're going to be in 2028 and 2030. I know the transition. Everything in the world is likely going to be tokenized in the next 2 or 3 years. By 2030, I don't think we're going to have... By 2030, the world as we know it is going to be utterly different. And I want to make sure that I have positions that are going to help me capitalize on that, not just for me, but for my kids and my grandkids. Beyond that, they're probably on their own, because the world's going to be so different for them. None of this shit's going to matter anyway. So that's basically what I have to say about that. ADA price stalls, but Cardano's roadmap tells a bigger story. Here's what to watch. So we're going to dive into this a little bit. And I also want to basically make note that, you know, when we look at the price action, we're going to see other assets pump before Cardano does. If you go all the way back to 2017, this is by design. This is the playbook, right? I believe that Cardano is looked at as the safest asset, one of the safest assets in crypto, because it doesn't have the extreme volatility that other more manipulated assets have. Okay, and that's a fine note that I want you to take note of, because I've watched this happen over and over and over, month after month, year after year since 2017. Typically, we had the Bitcoin pumps, Ethereum pumps. Those used to pump first because they were typically the only fiat on-ramp assets that everyone would have to use to swap into the other altcoins in the world that they wanted to get their hands on. typically Bitcoin and Ethereum were the base pairs for pretty much anything else you wanted out there, right? That's not really the case anymore. So, but what we still have is the prominence of those assets and ultimately the lack of volatility of those assets. Cardano does a very similar thing, but Cardano is not as sought after as Bitcoin or Ethereum because of the metrics that are used to monitor them. Obviously, Bitcoin being the first to market in crypto and opening the space for us all, being this global asset, this reserve asset for pretty much everything, right? Then you have Ethereum that was first to market with smart contracts. There are so many countless businesses built on the Ethereum blockchain, it's not going anywhere. It really doesn't matter what happens. There's always going to be a steady flow of new business into the Ethereum ecosystem. As such, that's always going to be one of the first assets typically bought into. But from there, we go into this paradigm of, well, I've got $1,000. What should I buy? I don't want to buy half an Ethereum. That doesn't psychologically feel right to most people. I don't want to buy 100th of a Bitcoin with my $1,000 because even if the price goes up $1,000, I've only made like $15, $20, right? That's not going to benefit people. So from there, people start looking at things they can get that's $1 or less, 50 cents or less. That's why the meme coin market has been so prominent. Everybody thinks that they're going to buy 20 gazillion of this shitcoin and that they're going to flip that for $100,000 in a couple of months. That's the narrative that's projected by these paid narratives in the media. So that's what happens. It sucks these people in that don't know shit about crypto. They're just basically following some lame-o on YouTube that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or he's being paid to pump this shitcoin into the atmosphere while he's basically dumping whatever the allocation was that he received, right? We've seen this a gazillion times. We know how this works. Those of us that are constantly tuning in to crypto, YouTube, right? And there aren't that many of us willing to just be straight up honest about things like that. And I've been honest to a detriment, because not that I regret anything, but there's so much money I could have made if I was willing to just sell a little bits of my soul here and there. But I'm not going to be on this earth forever. And when I go, I want to make sure I go to a better place than this shithole. So I feel like I make decisions based on where I want to be when I'm not here on this earth and wherever that may be, whether it's an energy thing, whether it's a heaven thing, whatever it is. I'm just always trying to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. And I'm not willing to sell my soul to make $1. I would not be in the situation I'm in right now, trying to build websites again in this elongated, manipulated market that the institutions are trying to keep suppressed until they can get their fucking dirty claws wrapped around every little thing that we're trying to do for ourselves. But that's the power of money. You know what I mean? First adoption, the pioneers of the space, it all depends on how we've lived our lives right up to this point. And, a lot of lessons have been learned by many of us, and a lot more lessons are going to be learned moving forward. But I still hold true to Cardano, and we're going to find out why, because Cardano's got a lot of shit brewing. Cardano's price remains quiet, but infrastructure and governance activity continue to build. My point in that whole little ramble was we always see some of these primary assets move before Cardano does. And generally, Cardano always keeps up with the market, right? That's how we always see Cardano typically around the top 10 of the total crypto market cap rankings, because it doesn't matter how much this asset above it goes or that asset above it goes. Cardano generally stalls. And then all of a sudden we'll wake up one morning, Cardano's up $1. It's up $1.50. No idea why. It maintained its position in the top 10 because it always generally grows. And what I think happens is people go into these primary assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, Solana, whatever. They go into these assets first because their narratives are bought and paid for, and they're generally, not all of them, but the narratives are such that it's more attractive to people that are looking to make a quick buck. The whales get into these positions first, drive those prices up, and then when they exit those positions, a lot of them, I know, they start exiting into Cardano, which then drives that price up. And then it just starts to filter down. The market caps continue to grow and stay the same because the pump brings on and attracts newcomers into the space that become the sell, or the buying pressure that the whales and the people in the know that know the system, play the system and all that, they're selling into. So the prices don't go down so much once it's peaked up. It's went up $1.50. Now the whales are starting to sell. Price comes down to $1.20, $1.15 before it starts pumping up again as those assets cycle down. That's how we see. And so when I see the news and they say, oh, Cardano's stalling. Well, this article was from what, yesterday? This is from, this came out today. Well, at the time of this, it was 40 cents. It's already at 42 cents, right? So, man, I'm saying a lot of shit right now. Can you tell it's been a while since I've been on YouTube? So anyway, Cardano is trading near 40 cents at the time of writing. Price action has been honestly a bit dull compared to other large cap coins. ADA, and I'll tell you right now, everything I just said is before I even read this article. I just picked it from the headline. I'm like, let's dive into it. So, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And those of you that have been in the markets a long time and you've been with me for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen it too. ADA hasn't joined the fast rallies or sharp sell-offs so far in early 2026. Still under the surface, a few developments are stacking up that could matter far more over the long run than they do today. Google Cloud is testing Cardano staking data. Governance has approved fresh funding for ecosystem upgrades, and developers continue pushing scaling and privacy features forward. Also, I want to make a quick note because everybody's been tagging me on X about making my DREP vote for some of these things. I cannot get GovTools to load, damn it. When GovTools was looking for, I don't remember, a ridiculous amount of money, like $5 or $6 million to build something else, I'm like, fuck no, I'm not voting for that. And I voted no. Why? Because they can't even make GovTools load properly. Every time I use GovTools, I run into some hang where the shit it'll start to load and then hang, and I'm sitting there forever and I have to keep refreshing to get something to load properly, or there's this problem or that problem. So I'm just being straight up, man. We need something better than GovTools because every time I try to use it, I have a problem. That's what's been keeping me. So, I guess other people are able to use it. There was another tool at one point that I liked using for all of my DREP voting, and I think they had to pull the plug because they just weren't making any money. The market was down, everything was down, there was little hope, and everybody's just pulling their hair out trying to make a quick buck to survive. And unfortunately, I thought it was a much better system than GovTools, but that's what's taken me so long. I think there's 6 or 7 days. I'm going to try maybe on some other computers or something and see if I can get those votes in. But yeah, that's what's holding me, just so you guys know. None of this screams instant price pump, but together it paints a picture of slow, methodical infrastructure growth rather than hype-driven momentum. Thank you. Said it all right there. Cardano's about doing. It's not about empty hype or bullshit or paid for narratives. Here's the thing. There's going to be a point, I'm hoping in 2026, there's going to be a point where the methodology and the way Charles has pushed the development of Cardano and Midnight and all of these things without a big, huge budget that they're able to pump into artificially inflating or building this ecosystem, that the technology itself is going to shine through above and beyond a lot of these companies that are paying for all of these bullshit partnerships. I see so much of this stuff. People that partner with Cardano or they partner with Midnight, they're not partnering because they're getting $50 million to pronounce the partnership all over the public and it's basically a 3-month test. Right? That we're seeing so much of that bullshit play out to get everybody all hyped up. Like, oh, look at this company using this chain. Look at that company. It's all paid for and it's all temporary. It's all for headlines. It's all bullshit. Anybody that's working for any of these major corporations that looks beneath the hood, if they look under the hood of the majority of these assets that are touting all of these amazing partnerships with these huge companies, anyone with half a sense looking under the hood of the majority of these layer one chains and what they're, I don't even know how to explain. Basically it's everybody saying, yeah, we'll let you use our name for a little bit for 20 million bucks for and then yeah, we'll do a little test for 3 months. It's all it is. It's all bullshit. Because a lot of these chains, they shut down, they get hacked, and there's all this stuff going on. No major enterprise entity is going to really truly rely on these assets or these technologies for anything meaningful, especially anything that needs to remain secure, remain up, remain functional, unless Well, unless they want to be able to shut something down on purpose for whatever reason, and they want a chain that can like do that, and then say, "Oh, we had a technical issue, but it's fixed now." Like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. I think Cardano is going to be a major winner in 2026, and there's just so many reasons lining up. At the same time, Cardano's governance approved a 70 million ADA treasury allocation aimed at closing some long-standing gaps. Funding will support integrations like Pyth network oracles, cross-chain bridges, and tier 1 stablecoins. There's also a rumor that USDC is likely lining up to start getting into the Cardano ecosystem, which is honestly one of the biggest moments and something that so many people have been shouting about and screaming about. Regulatory uncertainty hasn't disappeared either. Charles Hoskinson has been vocal about the broader political noise around crypto, but Cardano's utility-first approach helps insulate it somewhat. It's not immune, but it's less exposed to pure speculation cycles than many competitors. Man, I didn't even read this article, I swear to God. And this guy, who is this guy? We need to have lunch. Gary Ponce. Amen, Gary. Guy sounds like, yeah, this obviously wasn't a paid for article because it's real. So that's good. Sometimes I pull a headline and I start reading live and I'm like, this is some bullshit. And I just click off and I go to something else. I'm like, this is obviously a paid ad for somebody. The upgrade that could reshape ADA's use case. Several roadmap items could significantly change how Cardano is used by 2027, assuming delivery stays on track, which I think it will. I do think it will. I think I think we're on track still. One major focus is DeFi infrastructure. And don't worry, any of you that are posing questions and comments, I'm going to be scrolling up when I'm closer to the end of the video, and I'm going to start addressing any of that. We're going to have a chat. Reliable oracles, analytics, and stablecoins aren't optional anymore. If these integrations roll out smoothly, Cardano becomes a more realistic choice for developers and liquidity providers who've been sitting on the sidelines. Then there's Ouroboros Laos, a consensus upgrade targeting throughput closer to 1,000 transactions per second. And then when you magnify that by Hydra and you're getting 1,000 TPS per head and blah, 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 you can extrapolate that into like 80 million freaking TPS. Higher capacity opens the door to gaming, real-world assets, and enterprise applications, but only if stability holds. That's the real test. When you mention gaming, there's some big stuff coming. There's some big stuff coming. I'm going to be showing you guys at some point. We were planning on this week, but I'm not sure it's going to happen this week. Midnight, Cardano's privacy-focused subnet. Oh, I like that. Subnet. That's cool. Is another wild card. It's designed for regulated industries that need confidentiality without abandoning compliance. If adoption clicks, this could put Cardano in rooms most public blockchains never enter. I like this guy. There's also the upcoming Cardano card, which aims to connect ADA with everyday payments through Apple Pay and Google Pay, while keeping self-custody and staking rewards intact. Whether regulations slow this down or accelerate it will be critical. So, and this is part of the argument right now, where the left don't want you to be able to benefit from stuff like that, and the right's trying to push for all of it. So, and I'm not even trying to single out the left. I know that I have lefties that follow me. Some are in my Telegram group. Great people. Like I know that I talk right versus left a lot because that is generally the case. That's what happens in politics. One side picks a side on where they stand with something. Both sides are generally fueled and funded by somebody behind the scenes, and then our politicians go to war for them, right? So that's pretty much the nature of it. But I do believe that if you were to take 10,000 people, 10,000 Democrats and 10,000 Republicans, there's going to be like 500 of those people that are absolutely insane. And generally, they are also the loudest. And so that's generally what we see. And so we allow a lot of the people that are on, basically the fringe elements of either side basically paint a picture that represents everyone. And that's just not real. Just being straight up. At today's price, $1,000 investment in ADA buys roughly 2,486 tokens. What that turns into by 2027 depends far more on execution than excitement. Bernie, you okay? My dog started growling at something. So I don't know. Someone about to get shot. I'm just kidding. In a slower, more conservative scenario, ADA reaching around 75 cents would turn that investment into roughly 1865. That's not explosive, but it reflects steady adoption without major narrative shifts. Hold on, I'm gonna check. You okay? Oh. All right. Yeah, my cat was knocking stuff around, and I think for whatever reason, and it was messing with my dog. Midnight's a little brat. Let me just tell you that. Let's see here. If conditions improve and Cardano delivers on DeFi scaling and real-world use cases, okay. A move towards $1.50 looks plausible. That would place the investment near 37.30. And in a strong bull cycle where Cardano gains real traction with enterprises, payments, and privacy tech, a push towards $3 would lift that 1,000 to about 7,460. I definitely think we're going to hit the like all-time high of the last cycle, 2021. I honestly, I still believe that there's a very strong chance we can break $8. There's so much that's going to be kicking off here in the not so distant future. I'm not saying it's going to start really rallying immediately, but I definitely think we're going to see some big moves. Cardano volume rockets 72%, sets new 2026 price record. Well, whoop-de-doo, man. I mean, I remember when I was day trading Cardano at like 80 cents before the big dumps. That sucked. Let me just tell you. And let me know in the chat if you guys like me kind of being on screen with the news, but much smaller like I am. Do you like this setup? Or do you like it when I'm like full screen and then I'm switching to full screen news and I'm not in it? I don't know what you guys like better. So Cardano has seen a massive upsurge in its trading volume within the last 24 hours. CoinMarketCap data shows that Cardano's volume spiked almost 73% to 953.21 million within this time frame as the asset showed signs of regaining bullish momentum. And it is. I mean, let's just be real about it. Everything is getting bullish right now. A lot of people are basically starting to call out, hey, you know, we're moving up. The bull market is still intact. We're moving up. So, you know, we'll see. I like to see this. I really want to see Bitcoin get back to above 100 grand. I really want to see Cardano get back above 80 cents. That to me is where that's where I'll really feel confident. But I mean, hell, we're only 2 weeks in to 2026 and things are really starting to amp up and turn around. So, you know, we'll see what happens here, but I'm definitely, I'm feeling a lot. I'm feeling a little better, but all this could be wiped out in a day. That's the thing. It's like, I want to see where we're going to stand. Make sure you check out cryptocrow.io for all kinds of fun stuff. You can join for free, get access to all of the articles, the how-tos, the guides, all sorts of stuff. I've got little tools. You got a staking calculator, DeFi yield comparer, token watch list, portfolio tracker, AI prompt playground, and a Cardano AI assistant, if you're into that sort of thing. And I built this whole site. I'm building sites for other clients. Just check out dirtyleopard.com. Like I said, I've got an affiliate program. Just go all the way down to the footer if you're interested, and just click affiliate and sign up, and you'll get an affiliate ID. You can start sharing my blog articles, and you know, somebody clicks though. This is a good one. WordPress is out. I'm telling you right now, I'm going after WordPress people. If you've got a website built in WordPress, I can build you something that's going to be 1,000 times more optimized. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but like a lot of my sites, and I'm going to further optimize them here pretty soon, but I got a 95% on Dirty Leopard alone. And I'm going to start doing case studies on here showing like, here's the build out, here's my optimization and all that. But this website, it's at 95 out of 100%. And, by running all the Google tests, yeah, I mean, and it's like when I was building WordPress sites, it was almost impossible. Depending on the theme you're running, the plugins you've got, your load times, all that stuff. It was just like, you've got to spend so much money on plugins to optimize your site properly. And they're just nailing you monthly, annually, etc. With my sites, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have plugins. You don't have any of the bullshit draining you every month. You don't have anything that's nailing you every year. Some minor hosting and costs, which are still less than most places. And that's it, man. You know, and you can build the site to basically do just about anything you want. You can let your imagination run wild. I've been doing it on my own stuff. I mean, the fact that I've got to like initiate build, and like you can basically build the premise for your site and get a quote, like an average, like this is negotiable, right? But you can build a full quote on everything that you want your website to do. And yeah, I mean, like you can do anything, man. Your SEO audit, all this stuff. You can do pretty much everything and anything. Just so that you know, I've got my sites. My sites are built to automatically write and publish SEO optimized articles. Like these two here, this is yesterday and this one's from today. These are automated, okay? These are automated articles that are teaching you, legitimately teaching you how to do all sorts of stuff, and they're very SEO optimized. This is on autopilot. And no, I'm not using Ed8n. No, I'm not using any kind of like automation software. My websites are doing it on its own. So, I mean, these are things, man, where it's like these sites are building themselves. And then I have it set up where they get published to my social media accounts, and it's building the traffic, it's building backlinks, it's doing all this shit on its own. Okay? No plugins. So, yeah, when I say use your imagination and I can probably build it, I freaking mean it. So hit me up. I need some work, damn it. Need some work. Now, let's look at this. This is a big deal. I'm curious what you guys think of this, and then we're going to hit some comments in the chat. We're about 45 minutes in. 2026 bull run schedule. January is accumulation, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like we're in an accumulation phase. February, Bitcoin rally. March, altcoin season. And you can kind of tell that we're kind of, it feels this way right now, right? It feels like we're in an accumulation phase. Bitcoin rallies. When Bitcoin rallies, the altcoins start to go up a bit. And then once Bitcoin finds a new high, then the altcoin season really starts kicking off. And I'm hoping we get an actual altcoin season. We didn't get one last time. Like Cardano basically broke up to $1.30 and that was it. And everyone thought we were on our way, man. So like very few of us sold. What's funny is this was a case where the haters actually benefited. Because the haters were like, I'm selling, I made profit, I'm selling at $1.30. Fuck this chain, right? And they actually turned out to be right because we weren't going anywhere else after that. That was just basically a pump because of the ETFs and all of the noise around Bitcoin, and everybody was super bullish and everybody's like, yay, here we go. Here's our 2025 market run. And it was all bullshit. April, Bitcoin all-time high at 215,000. May, bull trap. June, forced liquidations. July, bear market. Bookmark this and compare in 6 months. I actually think this person could be right. A lot of narratives are basically trying to push everybody's eyes out towards the end of 2026 because the more people that can be programmed to believe that like the end of 2026 is where we're really going to peak, then the majority of retail is going to be the buy pressure for the institutions that are continuously pumping this stuff up with the retail market's help. And yeah, people are going to miss the boat. And I'm going to be watching like a hawk at this, and I'm going to really be mapping that out. And I'm going to be, this is probably going to be a time where I'm going to be going live consistently day to day, studying the price action. We'll see where we end up heading around February and like what that means and how that plays out. But ultimately, yeah, I think that's going to be a really big deal. Cardano now at around 41.5 cents as Bitcoin's dominance continues to rise up a bit. We can see Bitcoin's price coming back down, sitting at around 96.9. Maybe we bounce off of this moving average. We'll see. And then, oh, lo and behold, see, I sold my night. I got out of it, and it's actually lower. Go figure. So yeah, look at that. See, so I'll be able to buy back in with more money now than I had when I was originally in the trade. And we'll see how low it goes. It's currently at 6.7. That's my daughter. Oh my God, she's always blowing this 6.7 up. I guess it's dying a little bit though, but like it was at a point where anytime we saw a 6 or a 7, we would say it to each other because we're stupid. but I love her, so I'll play along. But anyway, we'll see. It would not surprise me if we get somewhere around 6.5 again, and I'll probably re-enter, and then we'll see where we go from there, because it's already broken down through all these moving averages. And the thing with midnight and trading night token is it doesn't really seem to play much or follow the moving averages as much as it does its overall channel. You know, I mean, it was much higher. It was all the way up here around 10 cents. But until things start to really move, I think we're just going to continue in this range until we get a big breakout. This is what accumulation looks like. I mean, let's be real. This is what accumulation looks like. So I'll probably re-enter a trade here soon, but I want to let these moving averages catch back up. You can see, you know, when the price is higher, the moving averages work down. Then we start getting a lot of crossover, and then things start moving up. I'm going to be waiting for that, and then I'll likely get back in. It's just that simple right now until things start getting more complicated. Also, for those of you that don't know, I am the VP of Tech for Setch.io. And we're planning a major push for February. There's going to be a lot of stuff. You're going to be hearing about it. And the only way you can get the token right now is on like Uniswap. But like I have a big meeting coming up with everyone on the team, from the CEO and the CTO and like everybody, where we're going over our plans that are, I mean, like a lot of stuff is going to be kicking off as we head into February. February is going to be a big month, not just, excuse me, for the resort, but for the token and how the token is going to be playing into the resort. And I'm hoping soon, because just showing this website doesn't mean squat. Right? Like it just doesn't mean squat. And, you know, to you guys, this just looks like your standard like token website. There's no fun to it. There's nothing really to it. That's going to be changing. That's going to be changing at some point. And right now the token's primary use is things related to the resort. So a lot of you are there like, well, I don't even live anywhere Florida. I don't even come to Florida. I don't care about the token. You will. Well, own the future of lifestyle and metaverse. When I'm able to start showing this off, you guys are going to realize real freaking quick why this token is going to be dramatically important, not just for the resort and that ecosystem, but this metaverse. You've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. And this isn't a metaverse like cornucopias, you know, like it's not a metaverse like that. It's totally different. And it's probably not going to be for everybody. I'll say that. But those that like it are going to live in it. I will say that. So just, you know, keep tabs on that. So I'm going to throw up, I guess I'll throw this up, and let's go ahead and engage in some chat. I'm going to move this. I wish I could move my chat over to the left, but I can't. I can't do that. All right, let's get into, you know, I'll just move it back here. It's just hard to read, so I'm gonna have to get closer and read my chat. I'm gonna scroll up first, and you know, let's answer some questions. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about. Let's see here. Darn well. Haha. Good morning. Is alt season finally starting? I don't think I don't think the alt season as you think is starting yet. But it's definitely, it looks like we're accumulating. We're coiling. Let's say that. Maybe we're coiling for a big takeoff coming to an exchange near you. We'll see. Hey Crow, have you migrated copy yet? I'm not sure what you mean. Migrated copy yet. I don't know what that means. Good morning, Big Daddy Crow. Well, good morning, Crypto Tom. Ben Cowan continues to be so right with his calls. I haven't watched Ben Cowan in a while, honestly. I generally just, when I see his face, I know he's saying just terrible shit's happening. Like, so, and it's just like, you know, I think we're at a point in the market where I know that listen, regardless of anything in the past, disagreements, whatever, I actually do like Ben Cowan. Ben Cowan is probably one of the smartest guys in crypto. Okay. I really do believe that. But I think that there comes a point where his bias, when his bias is proven wrong, whenever that happens, and he says it himself, it's going to happen. Like, it's very likely going to happen. He's going to be right until he's wrong. And I think that we're entering a point in the market where he's like, every day is borrowed time. That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not as smart as Ben Cowan. I'm just a big ogre on the internet. So I don't know. But I do think that at some point he's gonna realize, oh, well, you know what I thought was wrong. I said it was likely going to happen. I'm wrong. Now we're moving things, and this is changing, and that's changing, and that's totally fine. But I don't watch him because I don't want his bias to really become my bias and change the way I do things. I feel like the time for that is already passed. And so we're through the bulk of what I believe his sentiment has been projecting or proclaiming. And I'm expecting some of that stuff to turn around. Crow, I really want to do the affiliate website setup, but I have no extra time. Well, that sucks. You don't really need much time. Just grab a link and throw it on your socials. But I hear you. I really want a dedicated salesperson. Like, I could do it, but I really want somebody. I would love to find somebody that is like really good at like website sales or whatever, and can go out and just start reaching out to like WordPress site owners, like businesses with WordPress sites. I've even thought about setting up my site to scrape them, and just like make me a list, and then I could feed it to somebody and be like, here, reach out to all these people. And, that'll probably be the next phase, and somebody will probably make some good money. It's just, I don't want to really be getting into selling them myself when I really need to be building them. And so, I can build faster than I can sell. So I'd rather have a dedicated salesperson selling the websites, me cranking them out, building them, doing everything I need to do to get them all launch ready. Everyone's happy. But we'll see. Crypto all the way, man. Looks super clean. Great job. We agree. We are entering the make it or break it zone. Have you been stacking more night? I've been just $20 a day hard not to grab 300 night for $20. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say I've been averaging in. I mean, I'll have my allocation from the airdrops. I have bought some, and together, combined, it gives me a nice little chunk that's stored away. So, and then I'm just like trading like little bits, like right now on BidFi, I'm trading like $1,000 worth, or I'm trading $1,000, and hopefully that'll continue to grow. I want that to grow, obviously, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I'm your supporter. I haven't been keeping up with the content, but it's good. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We broke to, after 5 years with ADA, I ended as top 1% ADA holder and losing hope. Ah, man, I definitely, I mean, top 1% ADA holder. That's huge, man. Are you in Japan? I definitely am not losing hope. And I know that a lot of the tribalism and a lot of the fake narratives and the fake news and all of that stuff, the paid, all of it, I know how it's challenging. But yeah, I don't let any of that get to me, man. I mean, I'm assuming if you're a top 1% ADA holder, you've been around probably as long as I have, I'm guessing, unless like, where did you discover ADA? Like, what was it that was it, like Charles Whiteboard video? Like, what was it that got you so, what established your conviction so strong that you accumulated to become like a 1%, like a top 1%? That's huge. I can't even fathom that personally. So like, good on you. But yeah, I think too many people are letting the manipulated assets, which there were a handful, the manipulated assets, the bot narratives, the ones that have all of the paid influencers and everybody creating this verbal ecosystem of number go up, basically dictate their sentiment around the other assets that didn't have that, right? And so they think, well, this goes up and this is making these people money. And but there's a whole machine behind a lot of that stuff that the majority of the altcoin world doesn't have. Let's be real about it. And the more decentralized an asset is, the less likely they are to have like a pay to play wing that's just paying everybody and their brother to tout these bullshit narratives to pump up the token value. And the thing of it is some of these ecosystems have to do that to survive. I mean, if you look at the cost to run validator nodes and like the expenses, the inflationary numbers and all of that, I mean, they have to keep pumping money into these ecosystems to keep that narrative alive, or the whole thing. I'm telling you, I keep calling some of these chains are an absolute house of cards. And so, and I'm not letting those dictate how I feel about an asset that I've watched prove itself time and time again without all of that paid bullshit. You know, I see my comments sometimes, they're like, oh, I wonder how much Charles paid this guy. Man, Charles has never given me a fucking dime. Nobody in the Cardano ecosystem has given me a fucking dime outside of like, I think, did I do a paid segment at one point for Igon? Maybe I can't remember, but like any time I've ever been paid for anything, as a matter of fact, not only do I always disclose it, but I've always over disclosed it to the point where people are like, man, you're just saying too much. So like, there's never a question, like who's giving me what to do what. And even then, which I hear from Crypto Chef, the people that used to handle my bookings, like even when somebody pays me, it does not mean that I'm going to run out to the internet and tell everyone to buy it. I'm never reading a script. I just don't do that shit. And so, you know, it's like, let's just put it this way. Being brutally honest in crypto doesn't really pay that much. Not for long. But it is what it is, man. Take profit levels and take them when they come. I took some at $1 this cycle, not much, but something. Hey, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. 2025 was rough. It was rough for all of us. I mean, it's 2025 left me in hell, man. Like, I was so stressed out that I had like my nerve, like I had the situation with my nerve where my arm it literally felt like it was being torn out of my shoulder slowly, nonstop, 24/7. The only way I could get relief from the tearing sensation is to put my arm over my head. And this is how I slept every night for like 3 months. I had to sleep with my arm over my head. And mix that with the stress, the just everything that was going on. I mean, we had just sold our house at a loss. I mean, like just everything that I went through, man. I mean, 2025 was absolutely the worst year of my life. Hands down, the worst year of my life. And I'm really hoping that there's some significant relief here in 2026. And I'd much rather it be sooner than later. But, you know, I used to tell everybody, you know, like my therapist, anyone I was talking to, like you know, this year is either going to end me or make me a superhero. And I'm still fucking here flying. So it is what it is. It was a rough year for all of us, but we're all still here and we're all pushing through. And, you know, it's like sometimes, you know, the lessons that we learn in the darkest periods of our lives are the ones that carry us to the best times of our future. And that's what I'm working on now. I'm working out every morning now. I'm meditating with my wife every morning. You know, you can't tell really, but I'm changing again. And I really want to get fit. I'm not going to fight again. I know the questions are coming. I'm not fighting anymore, but you know, I do want to get into really great shape. I want to get into great shape for my wife and for my daughter. I want to be around, and I need my mood to be better. I need to be in a place chemically and physically where I'm not always just feeling terrible all the time and allowing all of the stresses of my environment, of my trading, of the crypto world and finances constantly bringing me down into a depression and a point of fear because we don't have what we used to have. You know, not everything is as bright as it once was. How do I deal with that feeling of having been such a failure? And I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want to get emotional, but it's like, it's been really, really rough for all of us. And, you know, we're working through it and it is what it is. You know what I mean? We just have to just work. It's challenging, but that I do believe is also what brings out the core of who we are. I feel like I've spent so many of these last years in a trance to a large degree where almost nothing was real. And it's really hard to explain that, but I mean, from even if I go back to 2017, you know, when I started YouTube, and you know, I turned, you know, 3 grand into 90 grand in 60 days, and it was just like that, and it's like, holy shit, and oh my god, there's this whole new technology, this whole new world. I want to make it a part of my life. This is what I'm going to do, and I did that, and then that 90 grand became like $500,000, and you know, and that was like my first 6 months in crypto. And it's just like at a time where you could throw a dart and be a genius, and then you want to help everyone. You want to help everyone appreciate and enjoy like the benefits of this new technology that you're now pioneering and being a part of. And then you have the crash, and then the ebbs and the flows, and then you're studying this and studying that, and it's just like everything is up and down. And you know, it's like when you get caught up in this, and it's like the money either doesn't come at all or it comes all at once super easy, right? That's the kind of the way. And you think that like tomorrow it's going to come back around again, right? And that's kind of where we're all at right now. We've been at this a while. We're waiting for everything to come around again and pick us up for a nice little trip, right? And nothing is guaranteed. And the only thing that is guaranteed, if you want it, is your own growth as a person. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about what not to do when you have money. I tried to take care of everyone. I try to, you know, like I wanted to be that. I'm a very generous person by nature. And I can't be that way. I mean, I can't be that way. That's just not really the way to be. I mean, there's being generous, and then there's being responsible. And they're different. It's just, you just learn a lot, man. You know, you take a lot of things for granted. And I honestly believe that some of the major lessons I learned in the last many years, honestly, is how I want to live my life, whether I have money or I don't. I've learned what's important. The flashy cars, the Lambos, you know, I don't fit in a Lambo, but I had a beautiful S63 AMG Mercedes that I loved, but it wasn't important. Didn't mean anything. And it's just like, I've had a couple of those, you know. We had a nice SUV in Puerto Rico. Doing the whole Puerto Rico thing was a complete waste. I mean, we made good friends and we had good times, and that was cool, but it wasn't worth what we thought. Like, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be, and it wasn't worth it. The tax benefits left behind, and there's a whole bunch of stuff around that. But like the houses, you know, feeling like you need to have the biggest, baddest house to feel secure in yourself and chasing your own self-value, not worth it. Not worth it. It doesn't mean anything, and nobody really gives a shit. Nobody cares what your house is. They care about you and who you are as a person. And I've learned a lot about what matters and what doesn't. What matters is my family. What matters is how happy they are, and ultimately how that comes back to you, and all of the things that you can't quantify. My daughter being happy, I've learned, means more to me than anything. You know, my wife being happy and being fulfilled in all of her ways that are important to her. Everyone has their own thing, right? My daughter really likes all of us close. All of us doing things together, whether it's watching TV, playing games, walking through a park, watching movies, doing whatever, you know, that means something to her. My wife, she loves her dance. Obviously, she's like an obsessed maniac when it comes to her dance, and her yoga and her meditation on all of these different things. And she likes when I am a part of that with her in some way, shape, or form, whether I'm just supporting her doing it or I'm doing it with her. Those things matter to her, amongst other things. And it's just like, for the longest time, I've been in this crypto bubble where I've only been focused on how much money I can make to establish my own value, to fill the voids of my own insecurities. And in that, I mean, I've always been brutally honest. I mean, to this day, I'm honest to the core. I'm very compassionate. I'm very generous. I want the best for everyone. But, getting into the crypto space, dealing with that initial imposter syndrome, always trying to feel like I have to maintain my value, not just to myself, but everyone around me. You lose yourself in that journey. You lose yourself in that process, and you realize that in the process of all of that, you neglect all of the things that really matter while you're chasing something that you think matters to everyone else, and it doesn't. And that's really the only thing I can say, moving into February, March, and this year, man, fuck the cars. Fuck the big houses. Buy a nice house that's yours, that you can just pay cash for and be done with. Don't worry about what other people think. If you are just true to who you are, and you're willing to share that with other people, and you're willing to accept that, to truly share who you are as an individual, it also means being vulnerable a lot. The friendships, the relationships, the growth, all of that stuff is going to benefit you and fulfill you 1,000 times more than any money that you're going to make in the crypto space. Use the money to enable you to live the life you want to be the person you truly are. Don't use it to try and chase something else, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, it's like, you learn a lot of lessons. What was the line in Landman? I really like that show. I think it was his daughter was just like, how are you so wise? How do you know everything? He's, because I made all the mistakes. And that's how we learn. We learn through making mistakes. I've made dramatic changes in my life recently. Because when you realize what truly matters, you're willing to do anything. And that's kind of where I'm at. My man, Crow, huge fan, much love. And then for your hard work, big heart, bigger gains. Well, thank you. Hit the likes to keep Crow's internet working. I'm hardwired right now. Am I working? I'm hardwired. So let me scroll to the bottom and make sure that I'm not getting, wow, there's a lot of comments right now. Agree. I just want to retire and travel. I love Landman. So I'm still live. Good. I'm still live. Yeah, I'm hardwired. I don't know what it was about my internet, but it was cutting my video streams out after like 15, 20 minutes, I think. Family first. Yeah, I mean, 100% family first, man. You should definitely learn to dance with your wife. Dancing is great. Exercise and more. I'm working out with her every morning. I'm meditating with her every morning. I've got my app, my Sadhguru app. I'm level 4. My wife is like level 100 something. I don't even know where she's at with it. But yeah, it's like, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm growing with it, and yeah, it's just making the right moves. So glad your internet stayed on today. Yeah, that's good. Me too. I mean, I'm so small right now. I know you can't like tell, but I am changing. And my head is like, I'm starting to lose a little bit. But it's weird because I was like 280, and I'm like doing 2 shakes a day with a meal in the afternoon, and I'm not eating anything after 6, but I'm working out every morning, and somehow I'm still gaining weight. And my wife was like, well, the last time you were in the best shape ever, you were 300 pounds. And I'm like, son of a bitch, you're right. Like, there are pictures of me where I was like really looking good, man. And I was 300 pounds in those pictures. I was just, my body fat was lower, and I was like a lot stronger. And I guess I don't have to do much to put muscle on. And so I guess that's good. But, it's like if I'm just trying to like check the scale every morning, and, it's not fun. So I just don't even look at the scale. I just look in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's going away. That's changing. So yeah. Oh, just want to pay off my house. Yeah, dude, I feel you there. I feel you. I got into crypto, so probably ruined it for everyone. Charles, slamming the SEC doesn't help with Cardano ETF approvals. I mean, are we in a country of free speech or not? I mean, Charles should be able to say anything he wants. He's not. That's the thing that everyone has to realize. Cardano is a decentralized ecosystem. Cardano is not really dictated by Charles. The only stuff that's dictated by Charles are the systems that are being developed to be added to the ecosystem. Once they're out, they're in the people's hands. And I understand that people don't necessarily get that still. It's the same reason we don't have these big pay to play campaigns, and we're not paying all the news media to, basically, give us simulated BJs in the media. We're not paying for that. So of course they're going to do that for the assets and the ecosystems that are paying for it. And so the same is true where if Charles has a sentiment or a thought and he shares it and it rubs everyone wrong, and it's like, oh, Charles has something to say about this or that or this or that. Yeah, that's fine. Charles can say what he feels. It's a free country. We don't have to agree with it. And a lot of times when Charles says stuff, I do happen to agree with it. But I also don't think that what his sentiments are or his thoughts are really have as much bearing or effect on the Cardano price or where Cardano goes as an ecosystem as people think. That's just where I stand on that. You were a beast in 2025 in the IFC. Thank you. I mean, I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, I would really love one last fight just to really see what I could do, man. Like I told her, I'm like, I would love to have fought someone like Sam Alvey, not because I even think I'd beat him. Like Sam Alvey is a tank, man. I mean, the dude is just such a beast, but because I really like him. And I know that sounds weird to say, I want to fight someone I really like. I do. I like him. I like him as a person. I like his Christian background. I like that he wears it on his sleeve to an extent, but tastefully. And I like that he's such a monster that I know he's the kind of guy, like if you really want to test yourself as a heavyweight, you fight a guy like him and you will absolutely be friends afterwards, no matter what the outcome, with nothing but respect. I really, really like that. I like that about fighters. Fighters like that. There's no need to trash talk and shit on each other leading into a fight. You're going to fight, like anything you say, it doesn't mean anything. You get in there and you do your job, and then you get out and you could be friends after or not, whatever it is. But I really, and then there's another guy that I actually thought I'd like to fight. I think he's a real tall Cuban dude. I can't remember his name now. He sleeps everyone. But when I've watched a few of his fights, and I'm like, this guy fights like me if I had a little more cardio. And I'm like, I wonder if this is just a tall man style, because I think he's 6'6". I can't remember his name. It's not Benavidez. I don't remember what his name is, but and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm getting close to 50. I'm like, obviously way too old for this shit. But it's like, I really want to fight somebody that, like win or lose, I really can explore like what my skills really are like if I had the proper cardio to utilize them. I'm capable of a lot of shit. I'm agile. I'm actually a lot faster than you'd think I would be, being 7 foot, almost 300 pounds. Like I can be pretty quick, but I have to have the juice. I have to have the cardio, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me I keep asking questions to myself, like what am I truly capable of? What could I have accomplished in MMA if I really went full bore when I first started training? But the pro and con of it is I hit so hard that if I land anything clean, there's a really good chance it's over. And like, I'm thinking, what if I went through all of this shit and I'm trying to fight some name, somebody who's like really good, somebody that like I'm actually kind of afraid of, and I just land one clean and it's over really fast again. Like that wouldn't mean anything to me. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I'm like, I think I would feel the same way about that as my other fights that were over quick. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like I want a banger, but I don't want a banger because I'm 48. I don't want to like my noodle loose. I don't know. I think it's one of those arguments I can't win with myself, so I just have to let it go. I'm just too old. Cornucopias to Rise token. Yeah. Rise is solid, man. And they've been sending me messages about stuff they want me to check out, and I keep meaning to. Then I get sidetracked. What time is it? Okay. Chef, we going to the resort? Yeah. Check out the Sets token and go on to the resort. Have some fun. Fight the brain not seen. No skibbity. Isn't skibbity that toilet head or something? Always tell my daughter 6 is afraid of 7 because 7, 8, 9. That's pretty clever. I'll have to remember that. Oh, that's good. Wow, that's funny. I'll have to remember that. Jake Paul cardio. He did try though. That played out exactly how I thought that Jake Paul fight was going to play out. There's always that little doubt, but I'm telling you right now, Jake Paul had it slated. He was going to fight that little dude, Gervonta Davis. And I still think, I mean, really, I think Jake might have beat him. I really do. Like, he was either going to beat him or he may have lost to a decision. But I think Gervonta Davis would have been able to chase him down and would have had the cardio for days. So it would have been different. It would have been different. But I think that when Gervonta started calling out how the whole thing was bullshit, I know Netflix said, listen, dude, if you want the check and you want this to keep going, you're going to have to fight somebody legit in a legit way with legit rules. And you're going to have to find somebody by like right now to do it, or this whole thing is done and we never talk to you again. And so I do think Jake went down a list and called everybody, and he ended up with the man that broke his jaw in 2 places. And I think he did that because he didn't have a freaking choice. It had to be a real fight. I think then he trained to just basically play the avoidance game, and round after round, he would slow down a little bit by little bit. And he did catch him hard once. I think he caught him one clean shot, which would have laid out most dudes, and it just didn't have an effect. So at that point, he knew he was dead. He knew he was done. And I think at that point, he was just like, man, I can keep trying to do this. So I just need to take it. That's what I think. So Trump versus Powell for the UFC White House fight, July 4th. I actually think if Jerome Powell and Trump got into a fight, I think the Big Macs and Diet Coke would get to Trump. I think Jerome Powell might stand a chance. He looks like somebody that at the very least does the exercise bike every day. I'm hazarding a guess on that. But yeah, I don't know. Gay for Crow, 5K ADA or 25K night. Currently 16-cent ADA tonight. Thinking about throwing 2K in or just swapping ADA over. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell you what to do with that. I just wanted to make sure I had enough of both. Just, that's it. And I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure I don't have to sell anymore to live. Anthony Joshua was a monster. That shot was clean as F2. Yeah, I mean, listen, Paul got his jaw broken 2 places for like $80 million. Sign me up. I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll do it right now. Do it this afternoon. It could be in a parking lot. I do that shit for a couple mil. I don't care. But yeah. Do you think the Tyson fight was real? No, absolutely not. I watched Tyson. I think Tyson instinctively could have ended Jake Paul multiple times during that fight, but he was not allowed. He had to play nice if he wanted the check. I mean, I saw points where you could see Tyson ready to cock for a hook, and then he would like, oh, never mind, I can't do that. I feel like Tyson was trying to keep the beast in himself at bay and keep it tamed, knowing, and I'm sure people had to like keep telling him over and over, this is just a show. This is just an exhibition. Like it is what it is. You're doing this for the check. I mean, I can see Jake Paul hiring a hypnotist to go over to Tyson's room and just like hypnotize him, the way he was when he was a kid and be like, listen, don't kill him. This is just for sport. This is just for a check. This is for entertainment for the fans. And Netflix was like, yeah, we're done with this bullshit. We're not doing this again. You're either going to fight a real fight, and honestly, I know that there's a lot of talk, but something tells me that in order for Jake Paul to, it would not surprise me if Jake Paul started finding other things to do. And quite frankly, I could see Jake Paul making a transition into MMA from here, because MMA would actually be a lot safer for him than boxing. If he wants to get his jaw broke again in heavyweight or even the cruiserweight, there are cruiserweights that'll break his jaw for him again. They'll break it in a couple other places once he's healed up. But I think Jake Paul would have better luck fighting up and comers in MMA with a really good right hand than what he's going to do in boxing. Cause I just think he would just be dominated from here on in boxing. Here we are. We're back at 65 cents. So we're going to see where this goes. I might stay live. This is a 15-minute candle. I might re-enter my long. You can see I exited up here. I might go back in down here. But I want to see where everything goes. Technically, I should be charting everything else right now to see what the overall sentiment is. Yeah, I'm going to pull this up and see. I'm going to look at the 5-minute real quick. Okay. Little bit of volume on the 5-minute and 1 minute. 1 minute is riding the moving average. It's trying to close above. Oh, and it just goes below. Let me see what the low was. All right, so the overall low 65.40. And then this one was 65.20. Let's see. 65. So 65.20. So this would be the low. I'm just gonna. I wonder if I could just enter a limit or a conditional. I guess it's just a limit. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and. All right, I'm going to go ahead and enter this just because we're going to go last. I'm just going to go full buy long and confirm. Come on. I hate how these systems. Every time bastards. Last. Oh. Can you pick this up now? Should be a little bit ahead, but price. So all the different systems, I have to get used to how they operate. Well, hopefully this doesn't race past me, but I'm just going to leave that there and see if it enters. Okay, it finally entered. So it picked up my long position. Entry price is 65. So 6.5 cents. Maybe it comes back down from there, comes down to like 65, could come all the way down to 65.20. Maybe even a little lower, but I'm just going to let that go. I got a decent trade. And then maybe if it starts moving back up, what is today? Today's Wednesday. So it makes sense that today's a bit of a reversal. Typically we get the midweek reversal. So we'll see. Man, I've been live an hour and a half. This is the longest live I've had in a while. So I'm going to go ahead and call it and get back to work with everything else I got to do today. But hopefully it was fun for you. And again, if you need a website, dirtyleopard.com, hit me up, fill out the form. If you want to help sell websites, let me know. I could use the help. And other than that, grow your coins, folks. Nice to be here. Nice to see everybody. And I'll try to